Hello, everyone. Just checking to make sure we're good. And you all can hear me. So when you get on, let me know that it's working good and that you're excited about stamping together. I am super excited to stamp with you guys tonight. There's beautiful flowers, and you guys know how much I love flowers. So we will be stamping with flowers tonight, and I am excited. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Friday. The weather was nice. Windy, there's like a cold front coming through for just tomorrow, and then it's like skyrocketing back up. But yeah, that's the Midwest for you. So I will wait just a few more seconds and then we will get started. I hope you guys have a fun weekend planned. If you're doing this card class with me, I understand that there are a lot of supplies. I used a lot of ink pads for this class, which you could always switch up the colors. You could almost do the flowers in the same color for every single card if you really wanted to. But I mixed it up a little bit. So feel free to mix it up as well or not if you want to do all the same. Hi, Colleen. Oh, how fabulous. Yeah, I know. I just got I just saw your email and totally messed up on getting that sent out to you earlier this week. I just know that the holidays super messed me up. And so I've been off on my days all week. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's no mail. So now I have to wait till Tuesday and I hope it gets there in time. So yeah, I was stalking the tracking every single day to see when it was going to arrive. And it said today, like between 10:15 and 2:15. And I thought, oh, nothing like pushing it. But anyway, we will go ahead and get started. I am Laura with LaurasStampPad, and today we are doing the February online card class. So it's free for you to watch this online card class. There are a few ways that you can participate though. They've always sold out, I think. Maybe one or two times they haven't sold out prior to the class. But all of my kits have sold out already. But I do have card kits that you can purchase in advance, and I mail them to you, and it has all the pre-cut card pieces and everything to be able to stamp along with me. But the other option is you can also get my PDF tutorial, and you can still get that. You can check out my Etsy shop. There's the link down below, LaurasStampPad.etsy.com, and you can get the PDF tutorial. You can instantly download that, so if you wanted to hurry up and do that right now, you also could do that. Comes with the color pictures, comes with the entire tutorial, step-by-step instructions, and all of that jazz. So, a couple things that I want to show you. I love flowers. You guys all know how much I love flowers. And I was super intrigued by the masks. I've played with masks once before this set and loved them, but was also scared. And so I was like, let's try this again because these flowers are beautiful. And I have fallen in love. And I've also come up with a few tips and tricks so that my scaredness goes away. I still get a little scared because I'm so afraid one of them is going to move, the last one where it's it's so good and then boom, it messes up. But got some tricks for you to help with that. So this is the Enduring Beauty stamp set. It's got this giant, huge flower or bouquet, if you will, because there's greenery in there. Then there's the little flowers that are great little accent pieces, and then there's all the greetings. And then there's also a coordinating die set, and I think we use all of these for these cards. So there's the big image, which does the flower. So there's the big one. There's this amazing label, which I used on almost all the cards, I think. It's got a little dotted edge to it. So a nice little detailed edge. And then there's two each of all the little accent pieces. So there's two of these flower pieces and they go in opposite directions. There's 2 of the little stamped flower things. There are 2 single leaves and 2 double leaves. So the awesome thing about that is you can crank it through and get a whole bunch without having to crank through a million times. Like if you wanted like 5 little leaves all around your card, then you would have to crank it through like 5 times. But instead, you could crank it through either once with all of them and use a mix and match, or you could do it 2.5 times for 5, 3 times instead of 5, to be able to get the same image and get multiples of it. So like there was one that I did with gold pieces that we'll do tonight. And I just did one of all of these. I also did one with green and poked those in, and it looks really awesome. The other thing that is with this bundle is the masks. Don't lose a die. Okay, I'm gonna set those aside. And then there's the masks. And these, a couple tips on these is there is a little notch cut out. Maybe I should show it like that or like this. See the little notch cut out? And just below that, there's actually like a little embossed number. So there's a 1, that one's a 5, that one's a 4, a 2, a 3, a 4, 5. So all of those notches, one of them like stacked on the other one. Okay. All those notches should go in the same spot, which will help you whenever it's time to line them up to know like that you're not backwards and upside down. That notch is always going to go either here or it's always going to go here. You know, it's going to go in the same spot for all of the 5 images for the masking. And then, of course, the 1 helps you know whether like it's like front or back. And it pretty much goes like base flower, base leaf, detailed flower, detailed leaf, and then the inside flower. Now, if you're doing all masking, you'll need the inside flower. If you're stamping and then masking, you don't need number 5 because number 5 is stamped. So the flowers already have number 5 already done for you with the stamped image. But the fun thing about this is you can mix and match the dies, the stamp set, and the masks. You can use all of them. You can use one of them. You can use 2 of them. And that's what I'm going to show you with the 5 cards that we're doing tonight. So let's get started. And I'll keep chatting about it as we go along. But sometimes it's easier to show or see than it is to just hear about it and everything. I'm more of a visual person for sure. So that's why I say that. So the first card that we're going to start with is using the Pretty Peacock. So if you're doing the card kit, then it's the Pretty Peacock with the Lemon Lolly. And you guys, who would have thought Pretty Peacock and Lemon Lolly? Like, how stunning is that color combination? And look how amazing it looks with that Pretty Peacock and gold ribbon. Like, oh, it's so perfect. And the jewels that I use tonight are from the Blooming Pearls. And those also have a fabulous little hint of a shimmer that goes with this. So those turned out perfect. So this first one, I just want to show you how you can use the stamp set and only the stamp set, and also don't have to worry about coloring. You know, I know some people look at this and go, oh, that's a lot of coloring. I don't want to do that. And I get that because I'm not a huge colorer either. Although you're going to question that as we go through this class because there's a lot of coloring in this class. But typically I'm not like a huge colorer. So we have our 2 pieces of Lemon Lolly. One goes on the inside and one goes on the front. And I will tell you, I actually have my my stamp. Since it's such a big stamp, I have it on the Stamparatus. I know that Stampin' Up! Discontinued the Stamparatus. So I have, and actually that's probably another reason why I pulled out the Stamparatus for this. My big clear block is over there. I use it for photos to hold my cards up. And it's so big, my hands are little, and I tend to like drop it on there. But you can also take your clear stamp, put it face up, ink it, and then press your cardstock into it. So there's a couple different ways that you can stamp with a large stamp. You can either put your cardstock on the stamp, or you can do it upside down like you normally would. But like I said, my hands are so small, I tend to like drop it on there, and I don't like it. So I put it on here, and I've used it many times. I have no rhyme or reason as to where it is on this. But I can see where, and disregard the place white square here, because that was for a different project. But I can see where it is, so I can then like rotate my cardstock. And again, this isn't like, you know, major science and like the perfect way to explain how to do this. This is just kind of how I'm doing it. So like there's been times that I'm like, oh, I only want leaves, and I can see the leaves are here, so I put my cardstock, you know, right here, and then I stamp just the leaves, you know, or just a corner or something like that. So what I'm going to do for this Lemon Lolly front piece, I kind of stamped it twice. Once is like up here and once is down here. And you can see there's kind of like a missing spot here and a missing spot here. If you don't want that, you could stamp your image, you know, like all of this and all of this, and you would have a lot less of that openness. You could also just do it along one side. If you only want the flowers on one side and you put your greeting over on the other side, it's all personal preference. So I'm going to do mine there. And we are using Memento Black. So I'm going to ink up my image. I'm sticking to other stamps. Yeah, I'm loving the color combination. I never would have thought it, and I don't even know what drew me to it. For some reason, this stamp set is drawing me to yellow. Like, I'm not really like a huge yellow fan, but I am with this stamp set for some reason. Okay, so you can see I can either stamp some of that up there later, or I'm not even going to mess with it, and it'll be fine. And I'm not concerned that there's like open spots. So we're going to ink it up again. And I'm going to kind of pop it down right there. So like it kind of looks like squiggly wiggly. I almost feel like I need a little bit more, but I don't know. I might do some leaves in the corner just because I feel like there's a huge spot there. Okay. And then I'm not going to worry about the other ones. Plus my greeting is going to go like right here. Or I could always make this an up and down card, and I could put my greeting here. You know, like I could do it as a landscape card and put my greeting down here or up there. But it'll be fine. I'm not that worried about it. I also would like to stamp a small little piece on, oh no. I got like a little black smudge. So I'm going to stamp like this little corner, probably from getting ink all over this. And then I got inky fingers. Okay. So now I have the inside and my card front. And I can go ahead and assemble those to the card. Hi, Pooh Bear. Welcome. Yeah, I was really sad to see them get rid of the Stamparatus because I felt like it was so useful. Oh, I used Stampin' Dimensionals on that layer. Whoops, not on this one. Who am I to forget to use Stampin' Dimensionals? I know, it's a surprise, but that's okay. My greeting is also dimensional. I mean, again, I'm over-dimensionalizing the sample, and so I just didn't so much on this. I guess it, like, it evens out, right? Okay, so I went ahead and I did the lemon lolly with that super fabulous little label. You can see it's got the little, like, dotted edge. So it gives a nice little look to it. And a lot of the greetings actually fit on it. So you can really do so much with it. I'm going to do something different just to mix it up. So I'm doing You Mean So Much to Me. And I'm also stamping this in Memento Black. So You Mean So Much. And then what I'm going to do is flip it over, add a little bit of adhesive, and then I'm just going to do like a zigzag. So starting on one side, place it down, loop it up, come down, and across. And I feel like there's like a bigger gap over here, so I'm going to pick up this middle one and scoot that over. And then we have that fun little loop-de-loop. And then now I'm just going to add dimensionals over the top of all of it. I'm glad that you enjoyed that little technique of using the stamp like that. Like I said, I really want to show off the different ways of using this stamp set. From, you know, super simple to super detailed, because I don't want you to think that it's always a detailed stamp that's going to take a lot of time and effort, and that a simple card like this, just stamped in Memento Black, makes a fabulous card. So look, I'm completely covering up. Oh, that's a little angled. Don't angle it. Completely covering up that one side, and so all I have showing is that. I'm happy with it. And then, let's see, I think my tails might need to be trimmed a little. I don't like trimming like just a little bit of ribbon. I just feel like I'm so nervous that it's gonna pull and munch. You overused it making bumblebees. I could see that. But how easy and fun was it to make those, knowing that it was gonna come out like perfect every time? Okay, so did I stamp a greeting? I didn't. So on this one, you know, I kind of did a little bit more. This one a little bit less. And now we're just going to add, I better pick those up before I forget that I dropped them. A few of these blooming pearls in the blue. And I actually did 5. So we're going to do some big ones. I need a little bit more putty on the end. I'm actually just going to take off all the putty and get all new. So this is the Take Your Pick tool, and I'm using the putty tip, and so I'm just going to twist it like just a hair, and then you have to have patience, and I don't have patience very well, but as the class goes on, more will come out. So there's like a little, just a little dab, and then I use it like a bulldozer, and I'm going to put one there, and here. So when I say a bulldozer, I mean just push on the edge of it and like kind of pop it off of its little plastic spot. And then it sticks to the bulldozer shovel. And then plop it right onto your card. And I didn't actually stamp on the envelope. You know, we already are getting out Pretty Peacock for one of the other cards. So I'm actually going to take Pretty Peacock and the little like flowers and stamp those on the corner. I'm probably off camera here, sorry. I keep feeling like I need like one more. Okay, stop. I feel like it needs more, but no. I will stop there. So this is card number 1. And you can see I did 2 different greetings, but still looks super fabulous on both. And it just uses the stamp set, and there's no coloring. So I stamped it all in Memento Black. And you have that fabulous, quick and simple card, 1 ink pad, and no coloring. Just an absolutely stunning card. I just love that Pretty Peacock and Lemon Lolly. Like, raise your hand if you're loving that too. So that is card number 1. That's the easiest one. It only goes up from there. Whenever I'm always doing this, then my husband looks at the cards and he goes, oh, that's the 5th card, isn't it? Because he helps me. I read back the tutorial so that if he can understand it, then hopefully it's not way out there. And let me tell you, sometimes he has to reel me back in and be like, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, he can always pick card number 5. Okay, so the next card that we're going to do is this one. So if you have your card packet, it is the white one with a piece of fresh freesia in there. And again, if you're making these, you could technically make all of these cards with the same colors. You could make them all purple or all pink or all yellow or all blue. Whatever your favorite color is, you could do the same pattern of cards with whatever colors you have or you like. So don't feel like, oh, I need all of these different ones. I did them in different colors, mostly because I wanted to show what the flowers look like in different colors. And I almost thought to remake all of them in just in the same color so I could show, but I didn't have time for that. So sorry, that didn't happen. So then we're going to take our basic black and layer that onto the card front. And then we have a piece of fresh freesia and a piece of basic white. And we're going to stamp the image. So we're going to pull back in that big flower. I feel like I'm going to have way too many stamps or ink pads open. And this is going to get dangerous real fast. So we're going to pull this in. And I'm going to stamp it in the center of my basic white. And I say center in quotes because, let's be honest, it's probably not going to be in the center. And we're also stamping it in Memento Black again, because this time we are going to color it with our Stampin' Blends markers. I will say, by using my Stamparatus like this, where I'm putting the paper all over, the whole like stamping it again is not really an option because I'm arranging my cardstock in there in random places every single time. So I wouldn't necessarily know how to put it back in the right spot. Okay, so the colors that I used for my flowers, I have Highland Heather, both light and dark. And I have Fresh Freesia, both light and dark. And I have, I think, Old Olive and Granny Apple Green, hopefully. Granny Apple Granny Apple light and dark, and Old Olive light and dark. So if you wish, you can color them all in one color and it's no big deal. If you wish to add the various colors, you can simply do that too. I'm going to show you a little bit about Stampin' Blends and how I color with them. I am not a professional. Just going to throw that one out there. So what I did is I kind of mixed and matched. But I usually start with the dark marker first. And I used to always use the marker tip, and now I feel like I prefer the pen tip. So don't ask me why. I don't know. But people do ask me all the time which tip to use, and I'm like, whichever one you want. So there's the marker tip, this one, and the pen tip. And like I said, I've been using the pen tip lately. And I am going to do these buds. And I'm simply going to color the stems and color along the lines. And then I'll come back through and blend out with the lighter marker. I'm going to do this little wiggle too. So I use the Stampin' Up! Image to help me know where I need to blend. How often do I do this? I do it once a month. I do, it's usually towards the end of the month, but it just kind of depends. But it's usually in like the 20s or so of the month. Sometimes it can be in like 17, 18. And now I'm just going to do a couple of these leaves. And you can pick, you can do all the leaves in like one. You can mix and match the leaves. I'm also going to do this leaf cluster down here. And again, you don't have to use two different sets of greens and two different sets of purples. You could always just use the one. So, oh wait, here's another bud. There you go. So all I did was the outlines of those. And I might even do the outline of this flower. Or I'm sorry, the stem. One of the reasons why I don't like coloring a lot is because it makes me nervous. I feel like I need to like color and then go back and then go back and then go back because I'm always so afraid I'm going to color a stem the color of the flower or the flower the color of the stem and I'm going to mess it up. So that's why I get nervous. So now I'm going to take my light Old Olive and work in a circular motion and color over the top and fill in all of those leaves. And I actually did not do the power of television and have one of these pre-colored. So you guys get to watch me color this whole thing. Ask questions. I'll try to read the comments and talk at the same time. See, I almost just went out of lines on that one because I got like overzealous. And some of this you might look at and be like, it doesn't look like it's blending very well. And you're right, it doesn't. But sometimes it needs to almost like sit a little bit and then you come back and you're like, oh, it did blend really well. And not necessarily like that long. Like it's not like, you know, tomorrow I'm going to say. But like you kind of need to like move on and keep working. And then come back and add some more if you feel like it really still needs it. I feel like this marker is running low. I get like new sets, but then I don't really know which ones the new ones are. And so it's always just an up in the air on whether I grabbed a new one or an old one. But yeah, that one is not going to work. But I'm just going to use light Granny Apple Green. and see what that looks like. I can't say that's my favorite, but it is an interesting color. And I totally colored not a leaf in that spot right there. Okay. So yeah, some of those I feel like still look quite, those look interesting. Quite like specific and not like super bled and blended. So I might come back to those. Otherwise, I might leave some of them. And then I just did various flowers same way. So I would use the dark Highland Heather. And we're just going to kind of do some outlines and some marks here. And then we'll come in with our light Highland Heather. And this time I happen to do the marker tip, but it's a bigger image, so I feel like a little bit better about that, maybe. And in hopes to speed this up so you guys aren't watching me color all night long. I think that's also this flower's leaf or petal. Are you guys doing anything fun this weekend? It's crazy. We had a 4-day weekend with the kids last weekend with President's Day, and my daughter had off on Friday. That this weekend I'm like, wait, there's only 2 days to the weekend? What's up with that? But I'm also excited because, whew, I don't know how we're going to survive this summer. Okay, so now we also have our fresh freesia. Same thing, just kind of doing those outlines. But we have my in-laws coming tomorrow. And then Sunday, I think we'll probably be outside because it's supposed to be like almost 70. So let me show you guys how I did that flower. And then I'm just going to fill in with the light. Because these are alcohol markers, they do bleed. So you do want to be careful when you get close to the edge. Not to go too close, because the marker is going to naturally bleed. And so it kind of like takes it the rest of the way. There we go. Now, if you wanted to do it going the other direction, I will show you that. So if I did this flower, and then did my dark lines, like it's kind of 6 1/2 dozen the other, but you can kind of pick which way it goes. Like that's why I don't feel like I'm the best at the coloring, but I'm also not the worst, I don't think. I just kind of wing it. Okay, Do you guys want to watch me color the rest of this, or do you just want me to show you how I did the greeting and move on? I can move on if you guys are getting bored. Or is coloring like one of those relaxing things for you? Do you guys like to color? Like adult coloring books, I think would give me heart palpitations. Because I just would feel so overwhelmed and that I needed to like complete it. So this one I'm kind of going backwards. And I feel like it kind of goes both ways. And then of course, like there's 2 more flowers. I did do one of the flowers, like this one, I did with the light or the dark of the 2. So I mixed the Highland Heather and the Fresh Freesia for that one. So maybe I'll end up doing it with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on and show you how I did this greeting. And I'll finish coloring that later. So what I did is, you can either do, like I did the smaller greeting, you mean so much, and then I cut off the edge. If you want to use one of the bigger greetings, like Embrace the Beauty of You, then you simply can, and it will use the whole piece. So that's personal preference on which greeting you prefer to use. Actually, I didn't use this on any of my samples, but I pulled it out tonight because I was like, why have I not used that greeting? Which is Holding You Close to My Heart. Super cute. I feel like that's a very, like I'm thinking of you. You mean a lot to me. I love that. Okay, so I just trimmed that. And then I took a piece of baker's twine, and like you could simply take the baker's twine and tie it into a really loose bow. Okay, so you can take a really loose bow here. It's great to watch someone else color. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that. And put it behind your greeting like that. I'm glad I'm not the only one, Colleen, where coloring books make me nervous. So thank you for that. But you'll notice that my greeting doesn't look like that. It's more foofy. And yes, I think that that's a word, so I'm going to go with it. So how I did that was, I'm going to take the knot back out. I pulled apart, I know you're probably thinking she has lost her mind. I pulled apart each individual one and laid them down. Which this actually works a little bit better than me. I did the whole like untwisting whenever I did it last time. And so then it would kind of get like tight and like, I did this. It actually works better to just pull it through. But now that I'm to the last 2, then it's hard to do that. Okay, so we're going to get the wiggles out. I swear my other one had 5 and this one only has 4. Okay, so I have all my strands and now I'm going to tie it into a loose bow. Yeah, baby. Hi. Did I just... I apparently don't know how to tie a bow. What did I do? Whenever there's 4 or 5 strands, it's kind of hard to see where it goes. So again, I just did a really loose bow. And now I'm going to put that behind my greeting. I might tighten it up a little bit more so it's not so big. And you can see that it's like foofed out. tell our friends hi?
Bye.
Say good night.
Good night.
I love you. Good night. So I'm going to pull mine, like my loops, a little bit tighter together. And again, I did the same thing where you can either add a little dab of adhesive or you can simply place it on the back. I kind of angled it a little bit and then placed Stampin' Dimensionals over the top to secure it. So I have 5 on there. And then, like, I would trim off the tails to be as long as my loops. Maybe a smidge longer. I can't pull tight because I have too many hands being used. If only God made us with 3 arms, right? Then we would need 4. So then that's how I did the greeting on there. And then I just added that to the edge, having it line up. You can have it line up with either the white or the black, or even the white edge of the card, whichever you prefer. And then on the inside, so I have the holding you close to my heart. On the inside, then I stamped that image again on the corner. So we will ink that up again. Oh, I put the lid on it, so I was like, I can't even find it. And stamp just a corner. Whoop. I'm going to stamp like that. That's more than a corner, but that's okay. And then let's see. I did the holding you close to my heart. So maybe I'll do embrace the beauty of you. No, because I kind of feel like it's a sympathy card. Love endures all. You know, I think I'm going to leave it blank for like a nice sympathy card. So then this will go on the inside. And then this goes on the front. So, and then we also have our envelope. And you know, with this one, I could either do a little bit of that black flower, or I could also do purple of those little bitty flowers. I could even do a little bit more coloring if I wanted. Coloring, I feel like that's too much effort for an envelope that's going to get ripped open. Do you agree, or do you think it would look super fabulous? So we're going to do like over here, I think. Perfect. So we have card number 2 with our envelope and the little foofies. Did you guys like it better like foofed out like that? Or did you like it just regular baker's twine, like all like simple? Let me know in the comments what you thought about pulling apart all of the little baker's twine pieces there. So this is card number 2, and then we have card number 1. So we're slowly building. Card number 1 just used stamps, no coloring. Card number 2 used stamps, and I colored with my Stampin' Blends markers. And then now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp Then we're going to color with the mask, and then we're going to die cut it out. So the next one uses the other basic white piece. So if you're using your card kit, then you'll get out the other, the only other basic white. So we're going to fold our basic white thick card base in half. And then we have 2 pieces of white and 1 piece of mossy meadow. So the white and the green are going to overlap and go down like that, but we're not going to put those down yet, just because I angled them. And so actually the green is actually not angled, so I could put that one down. So we can go ahead and put the green down. What do you guys think about the angled? I feel like every time I do it, I love the way it looks, and Brad says it's crooked. And I said, yeah, it's supposed to be crooked. I angled it on purpose, but he thinks it just looks crooked. So you like it foofed out? I know, I just like, who would have thought to foof it out like that, but it looks good. Also, if you needed a thin piece of like black thread, then just pull it apart. Okay, so the 1 piece of white is going to go down. We're going to actually die cut it out, so it really doesn't matter whether it is centered or not. It just needs to be on the white. And plop that down. And you know what I'm going to do for this one? I am going to do the back lip of the envelope. So there, our envelope is going to have that flower. Okay, so we're going to set our envelope aside, bring this back in, and I have a couple suggestions for using the masks. The first suggestion is to secure your cardstock down. I'm going to find my mask with number 1 and see how I want to secure my paper. Okay, so it kind of goes like this. So I'm going to secure my piece of paper, well, with a Post-it. You could also secure it like with adhesive to your table. That would work too. I really want the glass mat that Stampin' Up! Has for new recruits right now. So new people that sign up to Stampin' Up! During celebration, so through the end of February, they can select a glass mat pack. It's a glass mat, a silicone mat, and a cleaning cloth. I want that. That would be perfect for this. So I'm also going to secure my my mask. And I'm going to go ahead and just use all the Post-its tonight. I also really like to use the little Post-its for securing it down, or for like securing dies, just to make sure they don't move whenever I run them through. Because who uses these anyway? I don't. I use them like for stamping, but I don't use them to make tabs, I guess. I don't know. They seem messy. Okay. So we're going to start with our lighter yellow. So this is Lemon Lolly. And I'm going to get my blending brush. And I'm just going to like rub it over here. It looks good. I actually use both light and dark with the same yellow. and it was perfectly fine. So we're going to rub some lemon lolly, like a light little circular motion. And like I said, I get super nervous. And a light little circular motion. So a lot of times I say to start not on your project, like start on the plastic and then work your way in. But I also have found that since this is like the deepest layer, once you put all the other layers on, you really can't tell if you happened to start on the image. So if you forget on that part, don't worry. You'll do just fine. And also, it looks like more color than it looks. Like, I don't know how much you guys can tell, but it doesn't really look like a lot of color. But don't worry, there's a lot of color there. And that's when it really becomes magical. Okay, so we see that. And then we're going to take the mask off. Like, look at that. And I don't know why, but there's like a lot of yellow already on the edges of like where the mask was. So that looks super cool already, even if I didn't add the next layer. So now we're going to go to the next layer. And again, we know that that tab is up there in the corner, so that kind of helps with the layering. And there, we're good. We use those Post-its again. So if you like freaked out and were like, oh my gosh, she's using a million Post-its. I'm not using Post-its for every time. I'm reusing those same two. Okay, so then we're going to use, why do all of a sudden I feel like we're using, oh, this one we're using Soft Seafoam and Mossy Meadow and Daffodil Delight. So for this one, I'm using Soft Seafoam. And I'm using my green. Oh, I actually washed my green, so my green almost looks blue. So Soft Seafoam. And adding that color. The other thing is you can also stop masking after these two. If you don't want to do the other two, even three masks, you don't have to. If you're like, I nailed it, I don't want to ruin it, it's really cute, I love it, stop here, that's fine. Okay, I got my color. My green is on there. So many ink pads. Didn't I tell you? My desk needs to be bigger. Okay, so we're going to pull this off. Like, look at that. You could easily stop right there if you wanted to. I need to use my masks again. I wish I had a little assistant. I need Claire to come back so she can help clean my masks. So you could simply stop there at 2 masks, or you could move on, and we're going to do the detail. Okay, I don't know why that one took me so long to, which it's funny because I actually have it lined up over here, but yet that's not what I'm looking at every time I do this. So I'm not even making it easy on myself. So now we're using Daffodil Delight. I'm using that same blend that I used before. It's okay. And here we go. And again, you can do it as much or as little as you want. Like you can really add in the color, or you could just lightly go over it and say, that's enough. Kind of pop in a few little spots, like just a little extra dab of yellow here and there. And I always find this part to be like so magical. Like there, reveals it all over again. And then we're going to mask 4. There we go. And we're going to do this one in Mossy Meadow. And again, I'm using that same green one that I used before. How many of you guys have used masks before? Or is this the first time you're seeing them? Are you like wowed? Are you like, oh, I've done that? Or are you still scared like I was? I feel like there's a lot of little pieces with these more detailed images. And you guys know I like more bold images, so that's why I kind of dug in a little bit more with that one, but probably shouldn't. But see how amazing that is. Now, one of the other questions I have for you guys is, I feel like these buds should be yellow, but they have made them green. I don't know why. I would have made them yellow. And I have. In some of the colored ones, I have colored them the same color as my flowers and not always colored them green. Okay. So now we have our flower. It's all done. I don't need to do mask number 5 because that's the stamped image. Now, I guess if you wanted to like really darken it up, you most certainly can. But I'm gonna leave it as is. Let's try to move these markers out of the way so I can bring in my cut and emboss. This one does require the big one. I can't use my mini, which I absolutely love, especially for classes like this because it doesn't take up my entire stamp space. And I need to find that die. I definitely am making a mess out of my desk tonight. So we're going to line up this die, and I will use the little Post-its. I haven't lost you all yet, have I? And die cut this out. And we can use that again later. Okay, so now we have our fabulous flower. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to actually adhere it down just yet. I'm just going to like set it down onto that other piece of white. And I'm going to take my Lost Lagoon and we're going to stamp. I need to actually clean this. Hi, Denise. One more week in Texas. I'm sure that's very emotional and bittersweet. You're so excited to move, but also sad to leave. So I'm just going to randomly stamp these like little flowers like in the nook around my big set of flowers. And I did them full strength in Lost Lagoon in the outline, and then I'm going to do stamped off for the inside. Whoop, almost didn't stamp off. I'm I'm so happy for you, Denise, to move, though. I know that you have been wanting to for so long. Are you nervous about leaving your warm weather, or are you looking for it to be nice and cool? Since Colorado is a little bit different than Texas. Okay, so now we have those little flowers. Oh, I meant to leave that out so that I could add some flowers to the inside of our card. I think I'm just gonna do those two corners. Ta-da! And I know this like kind of looks weird now, but that's okay. So now we're gonna bring back in our piece. Yep, still fits right in there. And I die cut out in Mossy Meadow all of those greenery pieces. And so I'm just gonna nook those in. Don't worry, I already die cut those. And I'm gonna pick the ones that have the fewest things. So there's that one. And a double leaf. And a single leaf. And another one like that, and another double leaf, at first I thought I was going to try to like leave the inside little pieces in there, but they didn't want to stay, and I found that to be more difficult than popping them out, so I popped them out. So what I did is you can add these all around and either add them on Stampin' Dimensionals or add Stampin' Dimensionals on there and have them like flat. So you can see like this one is not popped up, but like this one is popped up and like kind of overlapping and everything. So none of these did I actually use like fine tip glue pen or any sort of delicate adhesive on. I simply added them to the underside and secured them with Stampin' Dimensionals. So like I might put one here and secure it with Stampin' Dimensional. And then I'll do, we also don't want it to, where does this go? How did I do that? We don't want it to go over our, how did I have that? There we go. And I did. Okay, you gotta move. You don't belong there. You're gonna go over here instead. So we're gonna like notch this one in here and secure it with a Stampin' Dimensional. And then here. And like you can even, like I said, kind of notch it up top and angle it down and then secure it with a Stampin' Dimensional. And then I might put one here, but I might not use that last one. I almost feel like there's like plenty. So now I'm just going to flip it over and fill in anywhere that there's not 500 Stampin' Dimensionals, because y'all know me. So this card actually uses the stamped image, the die cut for that stamped image, the masks to color the stamped image, and the other dies that are in the set. Whoop, that one's. And then now, try to remember where this goes. Okay. Oh, and I also said to stamp down in the corner before you get to this point. And I didn't do that. So where is my mossy meadow? And what I did was I stamped love. And that is on, let's see, love endures. So I just inked up the love and stamped it in the corner, just like that. So yes, very scary. You can also use a Post-it note to like cover up the other images so that you're not stamping, you know, like part of the E for endures or anything like that. But, you know, I just tapped it on the edge, that corner edge, and did love. And then now we can add this to our card front. And like I said, I didn't use a full set. And you can angle it or not. I still have to make sure all my leaves aren't falling off. So that is one thing that if you do fall off a little bit, then be careful with where your leaves are. Don't worry, we're going to use them on a few more, Colleen. So I'm going to have you be a professional with the masks before we're done tonight. So then there's the inside. And then remember, we have that fabulous stamped image on our mat, or I mean on our envelope. You can also color that if you wish to. If you love to color and you want to color on something that's probably going to get ripped up and thrown away, by all means do it. If you're going to hand deliver it, then definitely color it because I think it would be super fabulous. I added a whole bunch to this one. I just did the 2 on this one. But that is card 3, card 2, and card 1. You can let me know in the comments which one you are loving so far. And we're going to get moving on card 4 because this is going to be a long class. Okay, so the next card is this one in the Pretty Peacock again. So we have our Pretty Peacock card base. We're going to fold that in half. And then we can go ahead and layer on our basic black. I haven't actually done this class yet in person. So I am doing the online class before I'm doing the in-person. And I'm not going to lie, now I'm like I sometimes like to do the online first because then I have 2 samples to show at the class. But I also sometimes like doing the in-person because then I have all the tips and tricks from watching everyone else work on the cards. And so, yeah, I'm definitely afraid that this is going to be a really long in-person class. You love the colors on the 3, that those shades of yellow and that deep green. I know, it's perfect. So we have 2 pieces of white. One, of course, is for the inside and one is for the front. So for this one, what we're actually doing is just using masks. So we're going to put down our piece of paper, secure it down, and I only did the 3 flower masks. There's no leaves on this one, so just the 3 flowers. We're going to use that mask number 5 that we didn't use before, and we're using Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. And those are the 2 leaves. So I need to clean these 2. I'm simply just going to use a baby wipe, and I'm going to also press it into my leg, which I'm wearing leggings. So, like, you could do it on your, but I don't want to clean off my whole, so I'm just, my whole table. So I'm just laying it on my lap here and kind of rubbing, but also I don't want to rub too much because you don't want to pull on some of those like little delicate pieces. And then we're just, you know, going to kind of do that. You can also take it to a sink and simply rinse them and then pat them dry with a paper towel. And then you're all set. Just a little bit of ink on there. I'm going to save that because we're going to need it to dry off the next one. And this one, you can angle this, again, however you wish. There's no like right or wrong way to do it. Just kind of take note as to where you're doing it so that you know where your notch needs to be each time. Post-it notes. Again, you definitely want to secure it down with your Post-it notes because you don't want that mask moving on you. And that's the scary part, that I'm like, I don't want it to move on like the 5th one. And then it's like, I did so good until we got to here. And this one, I have a blue one. And I'm using Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock, and then black. So I'm using the same blue for the two shades of blue, Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. And we're just gonna lightly go over the cardstock to fill in our Lost Lagoon. You can see I kind of got a little dark in a few of those spots. You'll also notice, like, if you kind of angle, then you're going to get, like, up into the grooves a little bit more, and it kind of has, like, a darker look. And that's, like, if you like it, then that's awesome. If you don't, then don't keep doing that. Just go very light. So there we have our flowers. And then we have our detail. And we're gonna go Pretty Peacock. And you can even kind of go like, I'm going to press really hard on that piece, and I'm going to press really hard here and there, but not really there. And that's also going to give you that texture and dimension of flowers and color variation as well. So there we have our flowers. I know they kind of look like weird without the stamped image as the detail. And that just fell way over there. But whenever we pull in the black, then it's really going to bring it all to life. Oh, here it is. And like I said, this is the one that we didn't use last time because the stamped image is already taking care of that. And this one I'm using a little baby one. Aren't they adorable? And Memento Black. And I have both the big ones and the little ones. I am not so sure I have a preference. The littler ones, I feel like you can get a little bit more leverage, if you will. And they're definitely smaller to do like a smaller area. But if I were to like say like, oh, the big ones are good for this and the little ones are good for that, meh, I don't know that I could say that. So now you have your flowers and we can move on. I did also do a little spot on the inside of the inside piece. So what I did is I just kind of like picked a flower. Now, if you really want to be particular and you only want that one flower, then you can always add dimensionals, or not dimensionals, Post-it notes to like hide, you know, like I want my flower here, but I don't want any any other flower. So like I'm kind of, it's really hard because there's like a fine line right there to add a flower, but also not get it in the wrong spot. So we're going to go back to, like, I'm just going to kind of brush off a little bit, go back to our Lost Lagoon, add a little flower, and I'll show you in, now the other one like fell off the edge of the table over here, so hold on. I'll show you in my sample how even though I masked it like that, I still ended up with a little bit peeking through. And then our black, it's this little half a one. Okay, so there's our little flower. And this time I did good, but I will show you. Like, you can see there's like a little bit of blue along there. Again, I don't think anyone would notice, and you wouldn't if I didn't show it to you. So it's okay if that happens, but like that's why I put the Post-its down to kind of block some of that. So I just have that flower. Now some might kind of think like, oh, that flower looks like it's like floating out in the middle of nowhere and it looks silly and it needs some greenery. And yes, I kind of feel all those things too. So you could always add a few greenery pieces or not. That's all personal preference on whether you like it like that or whether you want to fill in more. So then what I did, I felt like it just looked super white, even though I really wanted to add in those gold accents. So what I did is I took that little the little three flower, the solid one, and I stamped it in Lost Lagoon, but I also still stamped off once because I just wanted this like subtle polka dotty background and I didn't want it to like overpower my image. And I felt like it filled in and kind of softened all that white edge so much. And as I'm almost done, I'm getting more nervous that I'm going to forget to stamp off once. But that's just where the greeting will go then, right? Or an embellishment. Okay, so now we just filled in, which again, you could always do that like around here too. And that kind of fills in. I really like that actually. And then we can do our envelope. To just add a little bit of detail there. Okay, so then I die cut the pieces in gold. Again, those same pieces that we did in the last card. I'll find ones that are already mostly popped through. That one doesn't want to pop through at all. And then I also need some of those little bitty things. So we have a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's find a double. There we go. Oh wait, there's also the other leafy like flower. Okay. And these, I actually used my fine tip glue pen to add these to the card. And I just kind of added them to kind of fill in on these little bitty buds. So like in the little nook, I added two. And you can also wait to put your greeting on in case you need to add one someplace else. So there's another one. Whoop. Okay, so now I've added all of those. And then the rest of them, I'm actually just going to add to the back of the greeting, just like I did on that last card. So we have our little greeting piece. And I'm going to go with Embrace the Beauty of You. Yep, that's what I did on my sample. I love that one. We're all beautiful in our own ways, even with all the flaws that we think we have. And then I just added these to the back and secured it with a dimensional. And so I did like the double on the end, and then I did a leaf and a whatever you want to call it on the top and on the bottom. And then I'll flip it over and add more dimensionals as needed because I'm an overuser. And then we'll add that upside down. Add that right to the edge there. And so you can see it kind of fills in that empty space that was right there in the middle and borders that like so perfectly. And then now we can add this to our card front. Feel free to angle it like the last one, but I didn't. I did this one straight on. And this layer only has 1/8 of an inch border. And then, of course, we have our inside piece. I really like how I added those little ones along there because I feel like it filled in and doesn't make it look so floaty. So that actually turned out perfect. So we will show this. That inside that I like better. And then the envelope and, oh wait, I forgot my little gems. This one has gold gems on it. I felt like there was still something I was missing on the front. But I kept like glancing over like, no, I feel like I got them all. See, look, our patience is paid off and there's more putty there on the end. And now we can smush it and use it like a bulldozer. How many of you guys have kids or grandkids that watch Blippi? And then now you have the bulldozer song stuck in your head. Just me? Okay. Okay. And that those gold dots also kind of help make the image go from like just this to like really fill the card and not make it look so empty in certain spots, or to cover up any mistakes you might have. Okay, that is card number 4. I'll go through all the cards at the end, and we will just move on to card number 5, since normally my card classes are an hour and a half, which would mean that they're stopping right now, and we still have 1 card left, and it's the hardest one. Yay! No, you guys got this, okay? This is a fun fold card. Super cute, and we're masking the entire thing and then die cutting it out. So no stamping. If you wish to stamp it though, you're more than welcome to. We're gonna fold our card, basic black card base in half, like a regular card, and then I scored on it at, I think it's 1.5. And then we have a piece of Melon Mambo. I actually die cut it with the deckled rectangle dies, so that's why it's got that like kind of rough edge around the edge. And then I use the basics, which is that 3-pack of embossing folders, and I embossed it, so it's got like this fun little texture to it. Again, both of those things aren't like 100% necessary, just adds a little extra fun to the card. So you could do a regular rectangle and then leave it flat. You could even like lightly stamp that one image on the background if you wanted to add a little like, you know, fun print to it. Or you could also emboss it with your folder of choice too. So that's another fun option there. And then you always never know which side to use first, because is it up or down? Which one do you like? And then we have 2 pieces of the big white, and then we have this little one. This little one is actually going to go on the card front behind that front flap. So it's going to go right here. And then we're going to take one of our pieces of gingham ribbon, and we're going to, I'm actually going to use a little bit of tear and tape on this one. So what I'm going to do is have it around that front flap, so it's inside here, around this front flap, center it, bring it down, and add a little piece of tear and tape. Again, pull tight on the bottom, center it, pull it up, and add a piece of the tear and tape. I love tear and tape because you can tear it with your hands, and that is awesome. Okay, so that's what you're going to do with the one piece, and the second piece you're just going to make into a bow. So I have my little bunny ears, and then I'm going to tie a knot with those bunny ears to make my bow. It's kind of wonky in the beginning, and that's okay. Hold that center piece and adjust your loops as needed. And then you'll add this just above the pink, but we're going to wait because we'll put this pink on first. And the pink is kind of centered on the card. So what I did is I just took more tear and tape and added it along the edges here, because we don't want to put the adhesive on the back of our Melon Mambo, because otherwise we're probably going to seal the card closed. So now we have all of the adhesive in the right spot. Center our Melon Mambo on our card front and press. And you know what? I did do it upside down. I did it where it's like debossed rather than embossed. That's okay. Still fabulous. Okay, now we can add our little bow to the top. And I just used little mini glue dots. And if you guys have been watching the entire night, you are amazing. And I appreciate you so very much. Because, like I said, I know it's a long class. And our time is all precious. So I'm sorry that these cards are taking a little bit longer to create. But I hope you're enjoying the fun techniques of masking and of this entire bundle. So there's our little bow right at the top there. One of these pieces is the inside piece. And I did decorate it with just 2 of the leaves from the mask and then stamped it in the center there. And then the other piece, we are going to mask the entire thing. So let's get started. I used Bubble Bath and Melon Mambo. So we're gonna pop this down. And we're gonna die cut this out so it really doesn't have to be perfect. But we have, let's see, mask number 1. And I need to clean it off again. So we're going to start with our, whoops, I almost did Melon Mambo. We're going to start with our bubble bath. I always want to call it bubble gum. That does look a little bit brighter pink than if you used 2 different ones with your Melon Mambo, or if I would have like rubbed it off a little bit. But that's okay. And then we're gonna go mask 2. And this one, this time I did Old Olive and Granny Apple Green. So we're gonna go Granny Apple Green is first. And we're gonna use that same green one. I'm just gonna rub it a little bit over here and then it'll be fine. Awesome. And I am going to slide this in and do that there. And then I'm going to slide it in down here at the bottom and do this one. So now I have my inside piece that has that. And that's mask 2. Isn't it fabulous looking? Mask 3, I need to wash off again. I will definitely say when I do this as an in-person class, rather than starting like easiest to hardest, then I'm probably going to have people do like masking, stamping, and like intermingle them so that I can clean the masks in between each one. That's gonna move out of the way. And now we're doing our Melon Mambo. It moved. It moved. Oh, don't move. I got overzealous and I don't have my bottom Post-it note. Where did it go? I hope it looks okay. I hope it looks okay. Oh, it looks fine. There's like a little like double image right there, but we're good. That was a scary one. Oh, we're gonna stamp a greeting. Okay. And then our last mask. And this one is in Old Olive. And that is not fully lined up right there. Either that or where I moved and bumped it, then it's a little off. But I think it'll be okay. And then we're going to pop this under here. Why do I feel like this doesn't line up? We're just gonna wing it then. So there's that little guy, and then it was this upper corner one. And there we have the inside of our card. Fabulous. And then since it's not stamped, then we have the black. There's the missing Post-it. And black. Also, you could always do like a little red or orange center. It doesn't have to be a black center. So if you wanted your flowers to be like a yellow flower with like an orange center, you could most certainly do that with the mask. Whereas if you stamped the image, then you would have problems with that because the stamped image is black already. Okay. So now we also need to stamp our greeting. Love endures all things on the inside. That makes a great anniversary card, I think. And we just need to die cut this out and assemble it. Pop that in there. Find my die. My goodness, where did it go? There it is. And there you have that beautiful flower that we're just going to add to the card front with Stampin' Dimensionals. And then to finish it off, we're going to add some of those pink blooming pearls. So there is, oh, and I did forget to do the envelope, but we could always add some of those flowers or anything to the envelope to really coordinate it together with the card, or you could always add some of those greenery pieces as well. So that is card number 5. Here's card number 4, card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1, and we still made it in less than 2 hours, so I still find that to be a success, but I do apologize for this going longer than normal, and I thank you guys so much for sticking with me and watching this card class. This is the February online card class. And like I said, it is free to watch. You can watch as many times as you want here on YouTube or on my Facebook page. And then you can also get the PDF tutorial with all of the measurements, step-by-step instructions and everything from my Etsy shop. You can do that at LaurasStampPad.etsy.com. Also, if you want any of the supplies, then you can always go to shop.LaurasStampPad.com so that you can get any of these. This is the Enduring Beauty Suite, and it is fabulous, and you definitely want it. Don't forget, celebration ends at the end of the month, so you can actually get a free celebration item with this bundle. So snag that and enjoy making these cards. Let me know what colors you liked and which your favorite one was. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, love, hugs, and prayers, and I'll see you next time. Bye!